Feed efficiency, it's the basis of whether we're profitable or not. We start our tour with stop number 1 today. Crew, let's ranch it up. Good day, everyone, and thanks for riding with us as we ranch it up. I'm Jeff Tigger Erhardt.
And I'm Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Bec. A big thank you to our partners, Vitelli, Pharmatan and Imogene Ingredients, the American Galvay Association, the Tri-State Livestock News, the Farmer and Rancher Exchange, and the Fence Post, Abrahamson Rodeo Company, Westway Feed Products, Neogen, LA Genetic Resources, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, RFD TV, the Cowboy Channel, and Wrangler.
Crew, we've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be going through the news in just a few minutes and sale barn reports and market information. And, of course, we're talking a lot about feed efficiency today. But before we do that, let's just talk fall just for a little bit. Can we do that? Just take a little bit of time to do that.
Yes, we can do that.
It's my favorite time of the year, so we are officially in fall. So this is kind of a little bit, did you know? I have a few fun facts for you.
What did you put together for us?
Here's what I got. I know, this is kind of out of your book. I know you're the factoidal of both of us. Americans typically refer to this time of year as fall, while the British use the word autumn. Historically, fall was called harvest because of the harvest moon.
I gotcha. Okay.
Here's another little one. Fall is caused by the Earth's tilt, not the distance from the sun. When the northern hemisphere tilts towards the sun, we get warmer. When it tilts away, we get cooler. So fall and spring are the times of transition.
Look at you.
You're going to like this last one. Fall tourism, a.k.a. leaf peeping. You've probably heard of that, right?
Oh, I've followed the changing of the leaves.
And when you were in Michigan, did people come to Michigan to see the changing of the leaves?
Absolutely. It's a big thing. They actually have websites that are just around it.
Well, they say it's billions of dollars of
huge.
an industry because in the northeastern part of the United States, they say just in a very small region, it is several $billions that people will come each year and spend to watch the changing of the colors.
I absolutely have that on our bucket list, by the way, is to head up to the northeastern part of the country.
We can broadcast our show from the north.
You got it.
Makes all the sense in the world to me. Cow country news. You know, the cow stuff.
Hey, everyone. This is where we're going to start today. China and the U.S. have one thing in common. Both are struggling with inflation. According to new data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, meat prices through August were up 10.1% year over year, while pork prices rose 22.4%. China's surging prices confirm earlier reports from this summer, which speculated that rising production could negatively impact the country's meat markets. Reports also pointed to various measures the Chinese government was taking, including asking hog farmers to release more pigs into the market. All the while this year, China's imports of U.S. pork have fallen considerably from 2021's record numbers.
Now news from up north. Saskatchewan cattle producers are moving forward in their efforts to build and operate the Canadian province's first federally inspected beef packing plant. The Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association said a recently completed feasibility study showed that with the right marketing strategies and plant management, a facility harvesting between 500 and 1,000 head of cattle per day would be a commercially viable venture. As is, Saskatchewan produces 30% of Canada's beef cattle. The province's current beef cow herd is approximately 1.1 million head, with roughly the same number of calves born each year. 250,000 head are exported either to other provinces or to the United States for slaughter every year, and more than 1 million leave the province as feeder cattle. The Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association says creating processing capacity in Saskatchewan would add value to beef exported as meat products and incentivize more feeding operations.
In a recent NCBA webinar, Dr. Bonilla, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine and Cattle Fever Tick Eradication Program Manager at U.S. Department of Agriculture, discussed the Asian longhorn tick and its impacts on the United States agriculture. Asian longhorn ticks originated in Northeast Asia and expanded into Australia and New Zealand. They were probably introduced into the U.S. in the last 10 to 15 years, but the first confirmed case was on sheep in New Jersey in 2017. Asian longhorn ticks have now been confirmed in Arkansas, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. Vanilla said Virginia leads the count with 38 known infested counties.
Despite inflation cooling down a bit in August, Americans can still expect to pay up on their next trip to the grocery store. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, August Consumer Price Index, the overall cost of food rose 11.4%, with the food at home category, groceries, was up 13.5% year over year. For the overall food category, that's the highest increase since May of 1979. The leap was followed by the other food at home categories, including dairy and related products, up 16.2%, with milk specifically up 17%. Meanwhile, the meats, poultry, fish, and eggs category is up 10.6%, largely due in part to the price of eggs, which is up 39.8%. And now that fall is here and the barbecue season is starting to wind down, the cost of hot dogs and processed meat is still up considerably. That's up 18.3% year over year. Lunch meats, now that schools are all back in session, is up 18.2% year over year. And before we head to break, I want to share just a few prices with you from the Northern Livestock Video auction earlier this week. For more information, you can go to northernlivestockvideo.com. Check out these prices, y'all. 5-weight bred heifers coming in at $203, 6 1/4 weight bred heifers at $1.82, 6 to 6 1/2 weight steers at $2 up to $208. The bred heifers from $1,775 up to $2,000, and then the bred cows $1,300 up to $2,000.
Crew, when we come back, stop number 1 on our Making Cattle Profitable tour.
We're not going to make this one fancy. No clever puns or planned words or sound effects. This one is just pure facts. It's close to weaning time if you haven't already, so did the genetics you used work like you thought they would? Make the decision today with the Continental breed of choice. Make crossbreeding easy. Performance, profitability, productivity, Gelbvieh and Balancer. Now you have the options. Smart, reliable, profitable. The Continental breed of choice.
Hey, it's Mark Fanzi with LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, and AuctionTime.com. Give us a call, 844-775-4762, or look us up online at LivestockMarket.com. Thanks, guys.
Nutrition does not need to be difficult or overwhelming or complicated at all. Keep things simple with Westway feed products. Cow-calf, dairy, feedlots, equine, and custom if you need. You can count on Westway. WestwayFeed.com. Neogen. They're the partner you maybe didn't consider or never knew you needed for your outfit.
We are very deep with providing genomic testing to all facets of production. We are very involved in biosecurity and animal safety. Again, all along the chain, and we can add value there. So if you have questions or concerns, contact your animal health distributor. Contact us directly. Go to neogen.com. We're more than happy to help.
Neogen. They're the partner you know you need, and now you have. Let's get it on.
Cattle Battle.
Welcome back, everyone. We pretty much have the rest of the year kind of mapped out for y'all and the information that we will be bringing on a weekly basis, and it's pretty much kind of right up until and through even bull sale season. So we are weaning calves, or at least lots of us are fixing to wean calves at this time, and it is that time to take measure of our genetics and our management, herd health, nutrition, vaccination programs, etc. The list goes on, to see what worked and what didn't work and how to make those improvements. And we're going to be talking a lot going forward about the basics of making money in the commercial cattle business, if we can get that figured out. And that is our calves, and our calves being able to genetically be more apt to convert feed to gain as quickly and efficiently as possible. So let's talk feed efficiency and how our seed stock producers are using it to select genetic packages for us to use. So stop number 1 on our feed efficiency tour, if you will, takes us to the Eagle Pass Ranch in Highmore, South Dakota, where they have been selecting for feed efficiency since 2007. Their operation has completed over 5,000 individual feed intake records with the Vitelli Sense system. The Vitelli Sense system and selecting for feed efficiency with Vitelli provides a tool to help producers meet their goals and incorporate feed efficiency into their herd as a heritable trait. AJ Munger with the Eagle Pass Ranch, great to have you on the show. AJ, you mentioned off air that your customers are looking for momentum in the feed yard, looking for feed efficiency. Let's talk about how you, with the partnership of Vitelli and the Vitelli Sense system, started moving towards these sought-after genetics.
It happened, I think, like in 04, 05. My dad was at a BIF conference in Mississippi, and he met the folks from what was then GrowSafe, and he said just a light bulb came on, and he couldn't believe that more people weren't intake testing cattle. It makes so much sense. I mean, feed across the industry, whether your cow calf or feed yard, I mean, it's your biggest expense. I think our industry is just very output focused.
How instrumental has been the Vitelli Sense system in moving the program in where you said your dad had the foresight to see this was going to be where we needed to go? How major of an impact has the Vitelli Sense system been for that?
We wouldn't have been able to do it without the Vitelli Sense system. And it's not only just, the hardware, the nuts and bolts of the intake system, with the bunks and all the data acquisition, but it's really all the technical support that goes along with it. And, you really need, to have the support behind the product. And I think that's what they've done such a remarkable job of is coupling those two, because, really without the support, it'd be really tough for us to be out there troubleshooting it, trying to figure out, what's the issue. And, if there is an issue, you hop on the phone with Vitelli or shoot them an email, and, within the hour they've responded and got a plan in place. And, because we got so many things going on, and it definitely adds some complexity to our performance testing, but they've really made it much more manageable just with the high quality technical support that they've got behind their product.
Now, with that data acquisition that you talked about, how difficult or how easy was it to be able to take all of that data that you just said that the crew from Vitelli was taking that, processing that, and then you need to regurgitate that to me, a commercial person, and I need to understand it to be able to make decisions of what bulls of yours to buy and fit my operation? I mean, there's a lot of components that got to fit into place for that to be able, that is something that is very palatable for me. So how'd you go about doing that, of getting all of this in a way, like I said, to make it palatable for me?
Early on, we knew that this was something that we had to figure out a way to explain to our commercial customers. And, RFI, residual feed intake, is a concept that's been around for 50 plus years. I think they were talking about it back in the 60s. It's, a bit of a concept to understand. We kept at it and kept hammering on the message, of what exactly RFI is and what the benefits are and how to select for it. And, then over the years, we've said all along, you can't single trait select for RFI. You got to use it as a tool in the toolbox, but it can't be, something that you're just solely focused on. And so we made sure to talk about that too. Initially we were, just calculating RFI for the contemporary group and ranking them, based on how they did in their contemporary group. And then we'd look at sires and see what, the average index ratings were on the sires. And that's how we would compare sires. And so that's how it started. Kind of gets back to how progressive Vitelli's been with supporting their product. They've got all this data now, now you're talking about having a lot more power with selection with an EPD versus just an actual data point. And so that's been pretty powerful since we started calculating EPDs, and that database just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And, at some point, they're already looking at adding genomics to it. And, I think that's really the next logical step. And eventually, I think it just ends up being part of the bioeconomic indexes that we use. It doesn't matter, I guess, what breed association you're working with. They've all got their own indices. And at some point, intake and RFI are going to be able to be included in those. Some are already, but, some of their own data, they're not using the Vitelli data, which is the biggest database in the world. And so I think at some point we get there and are able to incorporate that data and just make those selection tools that much more powerful.
It's made a huge difference in your operation. I mean, shoot, you head to your webpage, eaglepassranch.com, and, just in one of your tabs, one of your major areas is just all about feed efficiency, because we get it. I mean, we gotta have cattle that can travel, right? We got to have locomotion in those cattle, and we got to have cattle that, easy fleshing cattle. We got to have easy doing cattle. So it's kind of like, okay, those are givens. We know that, but now we're really focusing on profitable cattle, or statistically profitable cattle. And this has been a major driver. Am I correct with that, AJ? A major driver in how you're putting together your program and your offering.
I think you're exactly right. And it just really fits our target customer too. It's been something we've been pretty slow to adopt as an industry, is looking at exactly what our costs are on the cow-calf side. And so that's who we've really gone after is, that's our target audience, are those progressive commercial cattlemen that, understand what their costs are and realize that this just isn't a revenue-driven business. There's a pretty substantial cost component of ranching. And, of those costs, feed is by far the largest one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's worked really well because we're very data focused. A bull's got to be a bull, but when it comes down to it, it's really sorting them on paper, and we do as much performance testing, on the feed intake side. We do a lot of carcass testing as well, and so I think it just really fits our message and with our mission of improving beef quality by reducing inputs while also maximizing output. We've had a really great relationship with Vitelli over the years, and I think everybody should be intake testing their cattle. I'm surprised that we don't do more of it, and we're so far ahead now in terms of being able to identify and select for low input, low intake cattle. It's really made a huge difference, not only for our customers, but for our own operation too. Just really looking forward to seeing where we're at after another 15 years of testing.
AJ Munger with the Eagle Pass Ranch, sharing more of how using feed efficiency in the partnership with Vitelli is moving their operation in the direction that their customers have asked. You can find out more information on the Eagle Pass Ranch at eaglepassranch.com, and you can check out Vitelli at vitelli.com. Now stick around. We've got Kirk and the numbers and more of the Ranch It Up radio show right after this.
Hey, it's Mark Fanzi with livestockmarket.com, equinemarket.com, and auctiontime.com. Give us a call, 844-775-4762, or look us up online at livestockmarket.com. Thanks, guys.
Can I interest you in live calves this winter and spring? How about getting rid of scours? I've talked about Pharmatan from Imogene Ingredients before, and I'm bringing it up now because your cows need to have Pharmatan in their system 90 days pre-calving to help eliminate scours. Pharmatan is now on my team of experts, so if you need some more information or have questions, just get a hold of me. You can head online to pharmatanusa.com. You can look up Pharmatan on Facebook and Imogene Ingredients, or call 515-745-1639. Gelbvieh and Balancer, maternal efficiency and moderate mature size are a few of the strengths of Gelbvieh. Longevity, fertility, pounds of calf weaned per cow exposed are all part of that picture. Gelbvieh and Balancer, the continental breed of choice. The Tri-State Livestock News, what ranchers read. Stop by your local sale barn or livestock center and grab the latest issue of the Tri-State Livestock News.
From the latest cattle market reports to various news stories within the ag industry, the Tri-State Livestock News covers it all. You can also check us out at tsln.com. And for those of you that might be interested in subscriptions or advertising, please give me a call, Tracy Hawk, at 406-951-3211. The Tri-State Livestock News, what ranchers read.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. It's that time in the Ranch It Up Radio Show. We reach out to Kirk Donsbach, StoneX Financial Incorporated. Kirk, I will say that I've talked with several different listeners, and they say that this is probably their favorite part of the radio show. They like everything else. They like the news. They like the sale barn reports. They like the various different interviews and the information and the edumacations. But they all say they really, really like listening to your commentary for you to put it into perspective, because as you've kind of gone along and people have followed you along, they're learning to create their own little maybe charts in their mind and some benchmarks in their mind of where things are, and they're able to gauge, okay, where is my operation in relation to some of the numbers that Kirk is reporting. So wanted to pass that along to you, my friend, and give you some kudos today.
Oh, wow, Tigger, that really means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
No, it's not me that's giving you the compliment, though. You know that, right?
I do.
What
I've never heard you give me a compliment.
Exactly,
now you mention it.
Exactly right. What what do the numbers look like when we go and we compare last week? What's going on?
All right, Tigger, we'll just jump right into it. As of Friday, September 16th, October feeders closed 181.05. That's down $4.85 on the week, with the CME feeder index at 176.82. So again, that's the average cash price. That is down $4.42, leaving our basis negative $2.38 versus the September futures contract. Maybe point out to listeners that's the first big decline in the feeder index we've seen in quite some time, so take note of that. October live closed at 145.57.5. That's down a quarter of a penny on the week, with cash trading 142 in the south and 142 to 145.5 in the north, leaving the 5-area weighted average up 62 cents at 142.79 and the basis at negative 271. Our weekly slaughter was 667,000 head. That's 17,000 head more than the same week last year. Choice boxes traded 252.40, down $4.86. So just kind of a quick glance, you see in higher slaughter rates, higher volume of supplies, leaving choice prices struggling a little bit. To wrap it up, December corn traded $6.7925, down 5 3/4 cents on the week.
Now, for those of us that maybe this is their first time tuning into the Ranch It Up radio show, you have a newsletter that you send out every week. Sometimes, might send out a couple of different things. If there's alerts or reminders or whatever the case is, people wanting to receive that free, did you hear me, FREE newsletter, how do they get it, Kirk?
Absolutely. To receive my newsletter, text CATTLE, that's CATTLE, to the number 33777.
And then that has your email on it too, right? And then if people have more questions and they want to dig a little bit deeper, because that's usually the case, it has your email, and that also is the best way to catch you too, correct?
Yeah, it'll have all my contact information at the bottom of that. So phone number, email, and then you'll also receive some links to the StoneX website, et cetera, et cetera. But the easiest way to initiate the process is to text CATTLE to 33777.
And I got to say, Kirk can get kind of elusive during the day sometimes, whether he's out bailing or whether he's doing this, or when I catch him. I think the one time you were on your way, you were trying to pick up some bale twine. I think you were actually standing in line, and you were saying, I can't talk to you right now. I'm buying parts, and I'm buying baler twine. So if you can't get a hold of Kirk, you can always get a hold of me, and I'll just kind of keep pushing, and eventually everybody will get together and visiting somehow.
There you go, Tigger.
Hey guys, it's Mark Van Zee with livestockmarket.com. Just wanted to let you guys know what's going on the hay side of things. The hay side of it's starting to really heat up. We're seeing more and more hay come in as we get into the end of summer here, and guys that had stuff pre-sold, what they've got any, if any, left over for surplus. Online auctions for it are starting to pick up too. So I'm kind of floating it out there. I don't know if you guys are in a place where you have any surplus hay that you are able to sell on the cash market. If so, it's starting to really turn for you. We had a stick out deal on this last week's sale. Just 10 bales, but this producer's selling 10 bales a week. That's what he's doing every week. He's doing 10 bale lots of second cutting alfalfa, 5x6 net wrap, and it's tested, and so he's got the RFD value and all that stuff. Real nice stuff. But he opened it at $5 a bale, brought $105 a bale. So that's kind of where the market's at on that. If that's, in your ballpark and you've got the hay to do it, it's really starting to heat up on there. We all knew this day was coming, and we're starting to see it happen right now. So if you're interested in that, give us a call. We'd love to help you market some hay and get it sold for you. Or you can look us up online at livestockmarket.com. Thanks, guys.
I tip my hat to you, from one legend to another.
Before we sign off, a big old tip of the hat goes out to the Eagle Pass Ranch, wishing you good luck on your sale next weekend in California. For more information, you can go to eaglepassranch.com.
And now that's going to wrap it up for today. A big thanks from our crew to yours, AJ Munger with the Eagle Pass Ranch, Mark Van Zee with livestockmarket.com, Kirk Donsbach, StoneX Financial Incorporated, and the Boss Lady Bec, who's sitting right over there driving everything.
A big thank you to our partners, Vitelli, Pharmatan and Imogene Ingredients, the American Galvay Association, the Tri-State Livestock News, the Farmer and Rancher Exchange, and the Fence Post, Abrahamson Rodeo Company, Westway Feed Products, Neogen, Allied Genetic Resources, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, RFD TV, The Cowboy Channel, and Wrangler.
And crew, so glad y'all came with us one more time as we ranch it up. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook at Ranch It Up Show. Our email is ranchitupshow@gmail.com. Call and text us 24/7 at 707-RANCH20. Spread the good word and join us again next week where it's always Tigger approved.
Stay ranchy and ranch it up.